This is Roxy. Is that your real name?
Roxanne.
Roxanne. I should have known that. Right? Roxanne. Okay, so your closet name, what is that?
Roxanne Aguiniga.
Okay, so we'll put that in the description because I'm not going to attempt to say that again.
Not a problem.
Mainly your platforms are Poshmark and
That's my one right now. I'm on 13 different platforms.
what? Oh,
Well, I don't believe in putting my eggs in one basket.
that is true. But 13, man, you don't even see people going on like three platforms. It's a lot for people, okay? 13 platforms, ladies and gentlemen. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Which one is the best for you right now?
Right now, the best is Poshmark.
Okay.
Now, I'll say this is that in my experience, whichever one you put the more effort into, that's the one you're going to get the more sales from.
Yeah, 13 platforms. And you're doing about $6,000 a month in revenue in sales from all those platforms combined.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And you do this full time or is this a part-time gig for you?
It is full time for the last 2 years.
Okay.
Prior to that, it was part time, but I was finding myself engaged more and more and more and more in this. So it just became full time.
Became such a passion, right?
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
That's great.
And pretty much from the time I wake up till the time I'm going to sleep, there's something I'm doing that involves my business.
It doesn't even feel like a job when you're enjoying it.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, that's how it should be for everybody. But unfortunately, people, feel like they're obligated to do a lot of things. But, you have to enjoy it in order to be really good at it. Like really
Oh,
good.
exactly. That's like some people ask me, well, how do you do a live show and this and that? And I said, well, make sure you're talking about something that you're comfortable with. For instance, primarily my live shows are just Victoria's Secret and pink
Okay.
because that's my favorite thing. And so I know a lot about it. So I'm very comfortable in answering questions and talking about, what this item is and
Right,
what
right.
or that. If you're just showing a bunch of stuff that you don't know a thing about and you can't answer people's questions, they're not going to be engaged with you.
It takes a different kind of mindset in order to really thrive and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
so are you doing live selling?
Yes. Yeah,
Nice.
I started doing it with Poshmark as soon as it came available and they accepted me.
Right.
And then I branched out. I'm also doing them on Whatnot and Jamble.
Oof. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of
I
work.
different perks on them. Like for Whatnot, I'm doing my Beanie Baby shows
Nice.
because
Okay.
that seems more a better market for me there.
Yes.
And on Jamble, I'm doing Harley Davidson shows. You know,
Okay.
any kind of merchandise that I have that's Harley Davidson. So I find, what seems to be selling better in a marketplace, and then that's what I'm showing them.
People don't understand that. People think it's just one type of category for all platforms. Well, it's not working. What I'm selling is not working on this platform. Well, maybe you need to change the category you're selling in to suit
Exactly.
suit those buyers.
Exactly. Like eBay, I put my higher end items there
Right.
because I seem to have better success and normally will get what I'm asking or close to what I'm asking on that platform.
Right. Wow.
Where people are looking for deals, they know you're going to make them offers. So I tend to mark my items up more on Poshmark. So I'm
Yes.
making more on the mark point I want to make.
And you know what? What's good about marking your items up is it kind of gives your items more value. People psychologically, if you sell something for really cheap, people have that mindset that, it's not, it's just a whatever item. When you go into a dollar store, they're selling discounted items for a reason. They kind of break the next day.
Yes, exactly.
When you're selling something at a higher price point, people tend to put more value on that item and it will mean more to them when they make the purchase. Am I right?
That is so true because like at first when I started on Poshmark, I had some items marked cheap
Right.
and I wasn't getting hardly any, bites on that kind of stuff. I marked them up a couple of dollars. All of a sudden people are looking at it and wanting to buy it. And do you even try
Yes.
go. And it's like, okay, all right, I got to change this whole setup here. And
Yeah. That's exciting though, because you'll make more money. It's sort of like reverse psychology in a way,
yes, yes,
in a really weird way. It's reverse psychology.
it is. It is.
So when you
And
wake up in the morning, let's say, okay, your typical reselling day, are you just automatically moving to pictures, taking pictures as soon as you wake up, or do you do something else?
the first thing I'm doing when I wake up is I go through and see, what orders came in through the night.
Right.
I have any questions that customers are asking I need to get back to. So then I have my pad of paper. I make my list of, first my orders that need to get shipped out. Then on the bottom part, I'll put, what questions I need to get back to. So my first priority is getting my orders pulled
Right.
and get packed and shipped. Then once I'm done with that, then I'll go back in and start answering questions. Somebody might need a measurement on an item, or they want to know what the fabric is, or how does this actually, fit? Is it oversized? Is it snug? So I'll go through and answer those questions and get back to people.
Right.
So that's my first thing. Then from there, I'll move through starting taking pictures, and I'll go through and I'll take pictures of everything. And with your fantastic app, I remove the backgrounds
All
automatically
right.
pictures. So I'll get all my pictures done first. And then later on, I'll go through and start making my posts.
Okay.
And first place, I'll post to, actually, it's not Poshmark. I first post everything to Facebook
Okay.
Marketplace.
Okay.
So I get everything listed there first, and I share it to hundreds of groups that I belong to.
Nice.
Because on your phone, you could only do up to 20 different groups. But when you go back into those listings on your computer, it'll keep letting you share to an additional 20.
Oh, okay.
So
It's
I
like
love,
20 per device almost.
actually on the computer, you do another 20, and then you can immediately go back into that same listing, do another 20,
Ooh, okay. That's
until you get to all the places you want to share that
right.
particular item.
It's a good
So
idea. That is a good idea. Love
yeah,
that.
don't realize that you can just keep doing that, but on the computer you can. On your phone, it limits you to just 20. And I've tried it not just on their app. I've also tried, going to the website on my phone to do it. And for some reason, it knows that it's your phone.
Right. Yeah.
But on the computer, it does. And I'll get a lot of bites on stuff that way. People sending, send offers, this and that. And for a while, it was kind of driving me nuts because for some reason I wasn't getting notification on offers. And dealing with their support system is crazy on Facebook. It takes
Oh,
forever.
yeah, it's like non-existent. Please.
Oh, exactly. So finally, that's up and working again. So I'm happy again.
Yeah.
but but it is. It seems every year around January, February, there's some kind of a glitch with my marketplace account
Yeah.
where I have a little downtime where things aren't going the way they should be.
Right.
But back to where we were, I first post there, and then I will take that post and I will cross list it. And I then cross list to Poshmark and Macari and Vinted and Depop. Those are my first ones I do. And then I'll go back in and hit the other places up where I think it needs to go.
Now
Like
that's
if
just
it,
for one listing, right? You'll do
yeah,
that for.
for one listing.
Okay.
And
And
I'll
how
go
many of those
through
you do a day?
probably about 20 a day.
Wow.
So- Sometimes more. It
Okay.
all depends. Like today I've taken probably 100 pictures today.
Right.
So my goal is to at least get all of them first up to Facebook and then cross list them out.
You are full in on this reselling game,
Oh,
man.
yes, yes, yes,
I
yes.
love it. I love it.
And
You
then of
know?
course, when I'm on Facebook too, I belong to a lot of, groups with other resellers, people asking questions and that. So I'll go in and I'll give my 2 cents,
Yeah. And
on,
and so you should. And so you
advice.
should. Yes. You have a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience. One of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast kind of style, long form interview, because there's not enough people just like yourself trying to show people the ropes, or, give people a piece of their experience. And,
Oh,
it has a lot to do with experience. It really does.
well, some of the posts I'll see is, okay, I just got on Poshmark. I listed 10 items and I haven't sold anything.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, you listed 10 items. You're
Yeah.
you're not just gonna, list your stuff and people aren't just gonna come.
Right.
You you have to put yourself out there. You have to market it somewhere on social media. Let people know that you even exist.
Yes.
Otherwise, they're not going to see you. They're not going to come. And you can have just 10 items and get some people there,
Hmm.
but it depends on where you're putting it out to.
That Facebook group thing is a good idea. It really is. People don't utilize Facebook groups enough. And I actually just made a YouTube video myself about Facebook groups, about marketing
Oh,
yourself
okay.
on Facebook groups. It's very underrated, very untapped. Not too many people do it because they don't know about it.
Well, I've been doing reselling pretty much since high school. And when Facebook came out, at first I got into the group thing with gaming. I
Okay.
was doing the Facebook games. So that's how I first learned about groups.
Right.
And then realized, oh, I can actually utilize these groups for selling.
Yeah, free traffic.
Exactly. And at one time I was reselling coupons.
Okay.
So I started utilizing the groups for my coupons. So I had belonged to all these couponing groups and let them know, oh, hey, I've got 10 of this one or 10 of that one. And
Nice.
first it started out, I was just trading them to get what I wanted.
Right.
I learned, oh, there's a market for this. I can sell it.
Right.
So I started, utilizing it for that. And then from there, I just started, posting, okay, my kids outgrew this, or my kids don't play with this anymore,
Right.
or, I'm tired of this shirt or whatever. And so I started, posting all that kind of stuff. And then I realized, oh, there's a market for this stuff too.
Right. Right. Wow. You wouldn't be surprised what there's markets for out there. There's a market
Exactly.
for everything. Do people still do couponing like that?
Yeah, they do.
They
I
do.
met, I, I was really surprised because, my, one of my cousins that's in Texas,
Yeah.
I started in some of her posts about couponing. I'm like, oh, are you into mega couponing now? And she's like, oh yeah, I just started, I'm starting to post my deals and this and that. And I'm like, oh girl, I can tell you all about that. I did years. I still have inventory myself. I've got, you know, a dish soap to last me for I don't know how long. And
Yeah. There was a TV show about like super couponing and stuff. I remember back
I
in
was
the day.
one of them. I was one of those
Ah,
people.
yes. Wow,
I
that's
would
so cool.
get such a thrill of just going in and buying carts and carts and carts and carts full and paying 10 cents
It's
or
amazing.
have to pay me.
I was fascinated with those shows. I really was. I could watch those shows. I wish they still made them.
Yes,
I
yes.
wish
Well,
they did.
how I got into the couponing part of it was from watching that. And I'm
Yeah,
like, does this really work? I had to test it out, and sure enough, it did.
it's crazy. It is crazy.
Really.
You wouldn't believe. But
And I started reselling my stockpile.
yeah, that's a good
You know,
idea, actually.
I was doing first, garage sales selling it, and then I started selling it, on eBay and on Facebook groups and
Yeah. I mean,
you
why
know,
not, right?
exactly.
Why
You know,
not?
I saved money, either got it for free or whatever, and I'm saving these other people money because, of course, I'm not sure I wasn't charging them what they were paying in the stores,
That's
so
right. That's
they got
right.
too.
Yeah. That's a good point. Where are you sourcing now? Are you sourcing online, or are you sourcing, do you go to thrift stores, or
I go to the thrift stores.
okay, good.
Yeah, so around here we have tons of Goodwills
Yeah.
with a lot of Salvation Armies, and so I will go probably up to a 50-mile radius
Okay.
that I will source from. So, one week I'll source, western area. The next week I'll do the northern area, and then the southern area. So I get a variety of items in.
And
And
while you're doing one area, the other area is restocking, you know.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I only go once a week, and I normally spend about 10 hours out
Yeah.
between hitting all of them.
Oh,
So I'll
that's
come
great.
home with a truck full of stuff, or sometimes I might come home with nothing. It all
Right.
depends
It
what,
depends.
what they have.
Depends. Do you do any research before you go out, or you just wing it? You know what your buyers want,
Wing it and know what I'm particularly selling.
right?
And there's a point I want to make too, is just because something seems to be selling great for one person doesn't mean it is going to for you.
That's
It
right.
all it all depends, how are you marketing it? How are
Mhm.
you describing your item? You
Yeah.
know, and that makes a big difference. What do your pictures look like?
Yeah. Do you ever get into those let's say dips in selling? Do you have people describe like they're in an A/B test phase where like sometimes they'll be making sales and sometimes they won't make any sales for a while? Do you get those waves of sales or are you pretty consistent with your sales?
I'm pretty consistent.
Okay.
I'll see some dips in Poshmark, but then I'm higher up in other areas.
Exactly.
And that's why I think it's so important that people cross lists and
Diversify.
not
Yeah.
not be in one or two markets. I mean, of course, I don't expect everybody to be at the amount of markets I'm in, but you definitely need to be at least two, if not
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. Diversify. Not every marketplace is the same. Am I
No,
right?
not. They're not at all.
They're not. They're not. There's different buyers on different platforms, and there's a certain type of buyer on each platform. And that's who you try to cater to. And I think you're doing a really, really amazing job of that.
Yeah, I find on Grail, I get a lot of international customers. And for the first time, I had an international customer on Whatnot. I mean,
Wow.
normally it's been, people just in the US. And then all of a sudden I had somebody from Ireland order. It's like,
Oh,
oh, wow.
wow. They're in Ireland, huh? Amazing.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. And the one thing on Whatnot is you can import your Poshmark listings to there.
Yes.
So I have that done, of course. So that's one of my cross listing things, is after I'm done doing all this, then I pull up my Whatnot and put my Poshmark name in there, and it pulls up my new listings and
That's
get
cool.
that out of the way. And so it's up there all the time too. You don't always have to be doing live selling on there. You've got people looking at the marketplace too.
And what did you say again? How many items you cross list a day to the 13 platforms? How many per day did you say?
Uh, at least 20.
20 per day, 20 items. And you take each item and you market them a certain way. Okay. You don't just
Yes.
put them on Poshmark or cross list them and then that's it. More goes into it than just listing them.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely more goes into it. I've got my blog. Um, I go into different groups on Facebook, and hey, this just came in, or go on Instagram, and these are the new items. I make TikTok videos, so there is a lot that goes on to it.
Wow. And I'm going to put all the links to all your socials in the description of this video so people can check you
Awesome.
out because I think it's very important that people learn from people like you. Obviously, it's working for you.
Yep.
Maybe,
I've only dabbled a little bit in YouTube. I'm not really out there yet.
right.
I've been trying different things, but I haven't figured out what's going to work for me yet on YouTube. So I'm not really there yet, but I'm getting a lot of followers on TikTok with my videos. So something's working there.
Well, you could do the same thing on YouTube. You can make shorts for YouTube and, long form stuff like this, just talking into a camera, being yourself. People will eventually follow you and find you. It
Yeah.
might take a couple months, but people will find you and you'll have the most loyal following. I see that on YouTube a lot. The people who subscribe to other people are diehard followers, very loyal, very nice and kind people who just love watching the person that they subscribe to. And that's it. I think
Yeah.
you could do the same thing. I think you have a lot to offer people. You just put out a ton of golden nuggets in this video that people are going to love. I know that for a fact. And I have like one or two more questions for you.
Sure. Go ahead.
So if you were, here's a good one for you. All right, actually I have three. What is your biggest reselling pet peeve? What bothers you the most about reselling?
I think people that purchase an item from you and have buyer remorse.
Okay, yeah.
And what I'm talking about is they'll get their item, or maybe they don't even have it yet. It's shipped.
Yeah.
And oh, I didn't mean to order that. I want to return it. This is wrong with it. That's
Yeah.
wrong with you know,
Buyer remorse, yeah.
which lately I just want to tell people, if this happens on Poshmark, this isn't Macari. You can't return it for just because you decide to.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I can't believe they did that.
On Poshmark, there has to be a legitimate reason. The same with almost any marketplace. The only one that's not doing that I know of now is Macari. Macari's letting you return anything for any reason. But actually, on the flip side, I'm noticing I'm actually getting more orders on Macari now because I
Yeah.
think people know that they can.
Yeah, it's
And,
psychological, yeah.
and so far, I haven't gotten any requests for return, so that's going good.
I guess it is a lot of work to return an item. Is it worth it? You know, people's time, and I got to pack it up again and then return it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you get the money back, but it's like people generally are lazy when it comes to returns. So
Oh,
I don't see
it
many
they
people doing it.
are. I mean, I used to be a prime example of that. I would order something off of Amazon, and it used to be a real big pain in the butt to return things to
Yeah,
them.
they
So
make it hard.
a lot of times you just keep it, or you'd forget to send it at their cutoff. You got to be in the mail by this day, and if you didn't have it, well, oh well, you're out of luck.
Yeah. Yeah, like okay, we're gonna give you this cool policy now that people can return anything they want, but we're gonna make it hell for them to return it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that
That-
that might deter a lot of people. But if
Yes,
you weren't reselling, let's say you did not discover reselling, it didn't exist, what would you be doing? Do you have any idea?
I really don't, because I've been reselling since I was in high school.
It's in your blood.
Yeah, it's in me. I've always Well, actually, you know what, I could say pretty much since I was a kid. I was the one that would have the lemonade stands
Yes.
and Kool-Aid stands. I used to make things when I was a kid and sell them to my friends.
Right. Right.
So I was always in the niche in one way or another.
It made you
Um,
happy, yeah.
I used to do catalog sales when I was in high school. I was with a couple of different places. One was called Blair, which
Mhm.
was kind of like a combination of home interiors and Avon products all put into one.
Okay.
And I pass out these catalogs to all my friends, get my orders in, and I'd make a piece out of it. And I went from there, and I actually did go to Avon then, and I did the Mary Kay, and
That was
I
what you did back then when you weren't before reselling. That was what you did.
exactly. And then one of the other things I did was the home parties, which is
Yeah.
kind of like old version of live sales.
Yes. Yes. Tupperware parties. Just watch a
Exactly.
documentary about that, actually.
Exactly.
Do they still do Tupperware parties? I can
They
imagine not.
they do them online now.
Wow. Okay. Amazing. See how things have evolved.
Yes, they have.
Now, obviously, you've been reselling since way back when.
Yes.
Well, I can't even say, like, if you were to tell yourself, talk to yourself then and tell what you know now, because those platforms didn't exist back then. But if you could talk to someone who's just starting out and who's very frustrated with, they're not making sales, they're at their wits' end, they want to quit, they want to give up, what would you recommend to them to do?
I do talk to some people like that, and I tell them, not to give up. Keep trying. If one thing's not working for you, try something else. Look at other people's, like if we're talking Poshmark, look at other people's closets, look and see what kind of things they have. How do their pictures look? What do their descriptions look like? Check and see what kind of sales they're getting.
Right.
Um, look at videos on YouTube, check out Facebook groups, see what's going on there. Something you're doing evidently isn't right.
Right.
So you need to figure out what that is and change it.
Use all
And,
the tools at your disposal.
exactly. And then there too, it's not for everybody. You gotta also realize when it's time to say, okay, this isn't for me.
Right.
I don't have the time to do it. I don't have the patience to do it,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever the reason might be. You gotta decide. Okay, either I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a full time job. It can definitely be part time.
Yeah.
But there too, you got to make sure you're answering your customers' questions. You're getting their orders out in a timely fashion, because word of mouth is a big thing too. People can say stuff about you.
Absolutely.
You're
That
not
does
doing.
happen a lot in this niche, unfortunately.
Yes, and
Does.
not just on Facebook. There's other media outlets that people use and discuss things and can
Yeah.
say bad or good things about you.
That's right. That's right. It just depends on the person. It depends on how much you want to put up with, how much time you want to put into it.
Yes.
Ultimately, like you said, move on to something else. If you feel it in your heart that this isn't for you, you
Yeah.
might have success doing something else, but you have to feel it in your heart. You have to be passionate about it. With
Yeah.
anything, really.
Yes. Yes. I totally agree with that. With anything that you do, and if it doesn't make you happy, then why do it?
Exactly. People shouldn't. It can just fester a lot of negativity and just create negativity for people around you too. And that could bring people's sales down as well.
Oh, definitely. If you're around a bunch of negative people, then you're going to get negative results.
Yep, that energy rubs off. I really enjoyed this, Roxy. Thank you so much for this.
You're
People are
welcome.
going to love this interview, I know for a fact. And yeah, we're gonna check back in with you in a couple months and we'll do another one. Absolutely. I loved it. And thank you so much. Again, her closet name is, say it again.
It's Roxy Aguiniga, Roxanne Aguiniga.
All right, Roxy, thank you so much. We will
Sure.
have you again. And thanks for coming on.
You're welcome. Thank you.